So in this video, we're going to look at the Schoology Zoom integration. Before you can do this, you should have gotten an email from me saying that your Zoom account was ready, and it gave you instructions for how to insert the external tool. We're going to go through those same steps here as well, plus a little more additional work once you're inside Zoom. If you have not received that email, you probably haven't clicked on the link yet to get the invite, so I can't set that part up for you. So the first thing that I'm going to do is head up here and click on this little piece. You can also do this from Add Materials, but then it'll end up at the bottom of your page. So I'm going to click on the little green dotted plus sign line there, and I'm going to go to Add File, Link, and External Tool. And Zoom is going to be an external tool integration. And up where it says Tool Provider, I'm going to click on this option, and I'm going to go down to Zoom Video Conference. For title, I'm going to give this kind of a generic title because I'll use this same spot over and over again for students to go to for any live sessions. Any of this other stuff where it says custom, you don't change. That is set at the district level, so don't change anything there or you'll break the link. Next, I'm going to hit Submit. Now I can click on this live session, and I'll need to be signed into my account. The ones that are sitting here right now, you'll see it just says join. It doesn't say start. And that's because the host is not me. That is somebody else's meeting. So I could join their meeting. But that was not made by the account that I'm currently in. From here, I can go over to schedule a new meeting. Okay. You might give your meeting topic something specific depending on what you're covering that day or maybe the date. That way, if a parent or a student or you see this file later, you know what day it goes to. You can put in any description there, any of the stuff that you want to change, what time it's going to happen. Do you want this to be reoccurring? One suggestion I would make is not make anything reoccurring more than a week or two at this point in time because you don't want to have to go back and delete a bunch of meetings. If you do want it reoccurring though, instead of doing daily, change it to weekly, and then you don't get Sunday and Saturday in those dates. You can say Monday, this is going to happen every morning on these days. Okay. And then there's that thing, you could change it here so it ends after 7 occurrences. So basically a week and 2 days would be when this one ends, or you could pick a certain date and have it end. Registration, don't require registration. Your students are going to come in as guests. They're going to see the join button similar to how I saw the join button on those other meetings. Video initially starting for hosts and participants. I typically leave this off just because I would rather start the video once I'm added in. I make sure everything's working correctly. Students probably like the option to choose whether or not to start their video too. Audio, I usually leave it as both. Require a meeting password. Please leave this on. This is kind of a protection feature for you. I'm not sure if you have seen stories out there, but if you don't put a password on your Zoom meeting, you could have strangers who join in if they happen to guess the link URL. So you don't want them just jumping into your session. So leave that part on. The way the link is set up is as long as students are directly clicking on it, they're not supposed to have to put in the password, but you can still see it if you do need to use it. Enable to join before host, I would leave that off. Otherwise, you could have students in your Zoom session without you there. Could become just a nightmare to monitor if you don't leave that off. Mute participants upon entry, that's up to you. Do you want them to automatically start with volume off, or you want to leave volume on and then mute them after the meeting starts? Enable waiting room. This allows them basically just to sit kind of in a waiting area that says your session's about to begin type of thing. And then record the meeting automatically on the local computer. So if I check this, this is going to download it to my computer. Now you'll remember from the email, typically you don't want to record anything that is going to have student interactions to post later for viewing. And this is because they see it as a violation of FERPA guidelines, because you would have maybe student faces, student names seen in the video. So just be careful about what you record and what you post. And then down here, it has alternative hosts. They're grayed out. You can add co-host during the meeting. From here, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then my meeting would be ready to start. So I could either go here and start this meeting. Otherwise, if I were coming back in maybe the next day, I could click on the link or the external tool. And here's my thing today. I can go ahead and hit start. And then you have the option to download the application, or you can start it from your browser. There are extra features if you are downloading the application and using the application from your computer. So I'm going to show you that piece. So in working from the computer, down at the bottom, I'm going to start and go from left to right on the features down here. But you have the mute button. Similar to all other tools, you can mute, unmute. You can turn the video on and off. You could invite other people. For the most part, the kids are going to join through the link, so you're not going to use this button. Manage participants. Manage participants. If I click on that, this bar is going to pop up. For students, they'll see these buttons at the bottom as well. So they could say, yes, they understand. No, they don't. Go slower, go faster. More, you can get kind of like a thumbs up, thumbs down, clapping, need a break, stepped away from the computer for a second. And then you can clear your status. You also have the option down here to mute everybody, to unmute everybody. And then you can also use some of these features here where mute participants on entry. We didn't have that checked when we created the meeting, so you could go ahead and do that if you had people coming in late after the fact. Allow participants to unmute themselves. So right now, if I muted them, they could just click the microphone and unmute themselves. So if I turn that part off, now I would have to unmute them for them to be unmuted. Allow them to rename themselves. They're going to come in as guests, so they're going to have to name themselves when they start. Play enter and exit chime. Anytime a student would join or leave your meeting, a chime would be played. I would probably leave that off just in case you have students who come and go during the meeting. You don't really want it to disrupt your recording or your session. And then lock meeting. And lock meeting means that if you think you have everybody who's going to be there, you lock the meeting so no new people can join. So those are some of your options from that Manage Participants screen. Then we have our share screen part. And so you have a few different options. You can share your screen. Okay. And these are all the applications I have running right now, or screens. Advanced, this is where I could do a certain portion of the screen. Content from a second camera, computer sound only. And these are options that you don't typically see if you are just using the browser version. And then files. So you could pull files from like your OneDrive. Sharing computer sound. So I know I've had some questions in the past about if you played a video through your screen, playing the sound. This is one that you would want to click here. And optimize the screen sharing for a video clip. So if you're going to share video, I would say you're going to check both of those and then check where your video is going to be. And once you pick those, you just hit share. Next to the share screen, we have a few options over here. So one participant can share at a time. This is limiting it to you as the host. Suggestions right now in the education realm is that you don't allow students to share or participants or guests to share. There have been some people who have shared pornographic images or other items. So you don't want that to happen to you. So one participant can share. Right now it's set so that only hosts can share. Next to that, we have the chat. And so you could have your group chat running. Right now, this is going to everyone. If you use the 3 little dots over here, you can say participants can chat with, and you could say everyone publicly, the host only, or no one. Private participant chat is already turned off. So you could decide if you want to turn these other features off as well. Next to chat, you have record. This is going to record this and put this on your device. This is not going to be a cloud recording. I would suggest that after you record, you place this in the Microsoft Stream. That way it is public, or not public, but private. And you can choose who to share it with. So you can make a group basically of the students in that class and share the stream video just with them. And it'll pull their Office 365 account information to know if that is a person who should be able to see the video. To record, we're just going to hit record. You'll see it kind of running up here in the top left corner. When I'm done, I can either pause the recording. So if I need to talk and have a discussion for a little bit with student interaction, I can pause it. Then I could resume recording and record some more. When I'm all done, I can hit stop. And you can see it's going to be converted to an MP4 when the meeting ends. Okay. Next to that, we have closed caption. Typically, I don't worry about this too much because you're either going to have a participant type it, or you're going to have to find a third-party closed captioning service. And I'm not aware of any right now off the top of my head to use with that. A little further over is the breakout room piece. And this is going to allow you to assign people to breakout rooms. And you can have them automatically kind of random assign people to breakout rooms to discuss something. Or you could say you want to manually assign them. But then you just create the rooms. And then way over to the far right, we have the end meeting piece. I believe up in this top corner up here, if I have students, that I can click and change this to like gallery view. But with nobody in this meeting with me right now, it's hard to show you that. So that's just kind of a quick overview of the Zoom meeting platform and how you can use that a little bit. I'll go in and show you what it looks like kind of from a student view using that other meeting in just a second. So here's this view from the student side. I'm in the course. Here's that link or that external tool for Zoom. I'm going to click on it. Here's the meeting that I currently have pulled up on another computer. Remember, the kids can't join until you have that meeting going. So I'm going to go ahead and hit join. And then I've had errors today when joining from the browser that I didn't have yesterday. It could be with how busy Zoom is that they're having troubles there. But I'm going to go ahead and open this on the desktop. The students can download and run Zoom on their machines. So I'm going to go ahead and hit open Zoom. And then on this meeting, I have it set up so that when students come in, they join a wait room. So on my staff account or on my teacher account, I'm going to go ahead and hit admit for that meeting. And now you see it pop up saying join with computer audio. I'm going to go ahead and join. A lot of the buttons across the bottom are similar to what you saw on the teacher side. So they can mute themselves, unmute themselves, start video, turn video off. Invite, they're really not going to use this. So participants, they don't really, well, they can mute themselves. They can't do anything to the host here. Share screen, it's not currently turned on. Host would have to allow it. Chat, they could post something to chat right now. It's allowed for everybody. And then record, they can't record without permission from the meeting host. And that's just another safety feature, so we don't have students recording things. They could still take screenshots, so don't think that that's completely safe either. But at least it stops them from recording part of your session and editing it later there. Other things over here on the side with that participant part, they could do the raised hand if they have a question. Yes, no, same thing. They could clear all these out, mute themselves from there as well. But overall, the student view is fairly similar to the staff or the teacher view, except that they're limited on some of the things that they can do, just for protections for other students and for themselves.